Well, first off, it was a very nice break we had from football to basketball. It lasted all about what 3 days, maybe. I
Pretty
mean, shoot,
much.
I was calling games while the state championship was going on. Still, that's why I was able to join you Saturday at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. So my day off actually was zero. When you look around all these teams, Mitch, I can't pick out one specific player because that would not be fair to the rest of the players in the Federal League, both for the boys and girls. But Mitch, this might be the most wide open slash competitive federal league we are going to have, at least in boys basketball, in quite some time. You look at all the teams in the federal league. There's two that I just don't see where they're at compared to all these other teams. That's Hoover and Perry. I would love for them to prove me wrong. I'd love to see them have success and make this a 7-team race. But when you look at the rest of the federal league, Mitch, without Hoover and Perry in it, let's start with the federal league champs from last year. It was a co-federal league championship, I believe, between Jackson and Green. Green returns 5 kids that started. They weren't the all starting 5 last year. They would rotate kids in and out for starting 5. So they returned that. So the experience is there for the Green Bulldogs. Jackson returns 3 of their starting guards from last year. So the guard experience is there for Jackson. They have 1 senior on the entire roster. So you look at that, a lot of kids had to step up last year. Some other kids are going to have to step up quicker this year. Cam Weekly being one of them. He's already doing that. You look at Glen Oak, Ja'Cory Lipkins, Bryce Broom. That's a team that surprised everybody in the Federal League last year, I think, under head coach Rick Hairston. That's a team that you don't want to face. You look at Lake, Chance Kastenheiser, one of, if not the best player in the Federal League. Now, he will not be playing until January. He suffered an injury during practice. It looks like all is okay. It's just more precautionary, make sure he's rehabbed and everything. And then you look at Camp McKinley. This is a team with a brand new head coach and alumni as their head coach. We had him on here in the podcast earlier in the calendar year. They open up their season with a 20-point win over Alliance, which is where their coach left to come to McKinley. Mitch, those 5 teams, I think any of those 5 on any given night, whether they're at home or away, can win a Federal League matchup. And I think that there is a real possibility that you're going to see teams that are really, really talented and just a lot of fun to watch beat up on each other. I truly do not expect, I believe last year it was Jackson and Green who only had 2 Federal League losses. I will be stunned if the Federal League champion this year only has 2 losses, because I think this is the most competitive and most even playing field we have had in quite some time in the Federal League for boys basketball.
No, I like the type of teams you were shouting out there. You mentioned the McKinleys, you mentioned the Jacksons, you mentioned Sean Weatherspoon, who coaches now the Bulldogs, getting that victory over the Aviators this past week for McKinley. And there's a lot of players, as you mentioned, that are going to be standing out this year. You have guys like Ja'Cory Lipkins coming back for senior year over at Glen Oak High School, a 2-time first team all selection in Stark County. You have Kyle Monterubio, who steps up after last year's Federal League Player of the Year. Owen Woolbert graduated from Jackson. So Rubio is now a junior. He will be trying to get more of this Jackson offense going as the season goes along. You want to even talk about guys like Brady Rollison, the senior from Green High School.
Yeah.
He's an Ohio State baseball recruit, but he can still perform well in the basketball court. Helped Green last year to a share of the Federal League Championship, along with senior teammate Jarrett Taylor. This is a guy that can play a lot of different positions, whether it be from inside the paint to playing point guard at 6'6". He's kind of a jackknife type of player. It's really fascinating to see all this sort of talent we have in the Federal League and beyond. And then in Tuscarawas County, you have the similar matchups here. We're already getting into some overall season play. League play is just getting underway. Buckeye Trail and Canaan Valley got on the board the other night, but right now the boys just very young in their season. Girls have had a couple of their games already into this campaign as well. Currently, Buckeye Trail and Strasburg are top the league at 2-1, both at 1-0 in conference play, and then a 3-way tie between Ridgewood, Highland, and Indian Valley at 3-0 on the girls' side. So in the IVC South. So this is going to be one where we're going to be keeping an eye on what's going to be happening here in the next couple of weeks to see how we can get a better idea of where the conferences will stand as we go into the new calendar year.